Hello and welcome to the Foxy Bros podcast. I'm your host, Niall Fox, A.K.A. Foxy, and I'm joined today by a writer, an artist, resident con mom, and that will be explained later. Yeah, and regular flyer to the land of the rising sun. It is Lorraine. How are you today?
I'm good. It is me. That was a very nice introduction, dear. Thank you, Foxy.
You're very
Look
welcome.
at but I'm Foxy. I'm crafty like a fox. Oh my god, you're totally stealing my name, bro. What was that, bro?
Like infringing on the Fox usage name.
I know, like how very dare you, even though it's your second name. Good God, I obviously
Yeah.
claimed it before you.
Mine's a given. It's my name. So
Oh no, not allowed. I won't allow it. Never. Anyway, hello. Thank you for having me on your show.
you're very welcome. It's good to finally actually get you onto this because
I know.
we've been trying
We've
for
been planning
ages.
this for a while now.
Yeah.
It's just scheduling conflicts
Yeah.
and coronavirus.
Because I wanted to like get you on for 2 episodes.
Mm, mm.
One before and one after uh, a recent said trip to Japan,
We
which
could
is
totally fake it and be all like, "Here's the first one, and there's the second." Oh no! I said it. I said it on the podcast. We can't do it now. No.
yeah. No, but like obviously like yes, my original plan was to do one before we went to Japan and the second one after
Hmm.
because it would now you're a regular you make
Yeah.
regular trips to Japan throughout the year,
Mm.
whereas was my first trip to Japan and I wanted to do uh the the comparison of what I'm
Mm, mm,
expecting versus what I got kind of
mm.
thing.
We
But
can still do that though. You can still be like, "Well, I was expecting this, and I got that." Yeah.
well, we still could,
Still,
but like,
yeah, it's still doable.
but I suppose like we shall start first. So you we met Jesus, I want to say what 5, 6 years ago thereabouts.
About 6 or 7 years ago, yeah, we
Yeah,
met.
I think we probably came across each other once or twice before
Oh
that, but it
yeah, like I
just
mean, in between we were kind of like bopping, going, "Hey, you, I know your face. Okay, bye."
yeah, like when you go to conventions, you kind of see the same people, but you never really interact with them. So
Yeah.
our first proper like introduction was at a convention that I was doing. It was before it became Geek Mart. It was
Yeah,
just a gathering, basically.
yeah, yeah. It was something Comic Con or something like that. I heard something Daily Comics. I can't remember.
Yeah,
But I went there and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna sell my shit," and people were like, "Holy shit, you have too much shit," and I'm like, "I know."
I know. I need to get rid of it, but at the same time, I want to buy more. So
Yes.
yeah,
So give me
please
your
help
money
with
so I can spend my money so you can give me your money.
please help me with this ongoing endless cycle.
I have a problem. Don't help me. Fuel
Fuel.
it.
No,
That's
but like,
pretty much my end game.
no,
Fuel
but
my addiction.
obviously, like we met in about 5 or 6 years ago, but it's gonna you've been doing cons a fair bit longer than I
Oh
have.
yeah, since
Gonna
the second Erticon I've been trading at
so
conventions, so that's a long time.
what year is that? Just for people that wouldn't know.
Um oh geez, I don't know. I think it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, you're probably going about 2008,
don't know,
maybe a little bit before.
which is a
It's
long time
Oh
ago.
yeah, it's
Like,
a
don't know,
very, very long time
like
ago. It's like I'm too old now. My memory's fuzzy.
whereas like me, like don't know, I've been doing conventions like properly since 2015, but
Mm,
I've dabbled in it from 2012. Don't know
yeah.
where I'd help at conventions, and if I could, I'd bring some stuff and try and sell it and make some money. Don't know,
Mm,
but then proper until 2015. But obviously, like don't know. Now I alluded to the fact of you being called referred to as con mom. Dunno.
Mm.
And would you care to explain why you have that name?
Well, because I'm a main trader and a mainstay at conventions, a lot of the congoers, especially younger ones, they tend to come up to me. I will chat to them, I'll be really nice. But I have this sense of I need to protect you all, you precious beings. So I'll see regular ones and be like, hey, you don't eat at conventions. Have you eaten today? And they're like, yeah, mom. So I've become their con mom. I make sure people have kept themselves hydrated. If they have problems, they can come over to me. If they're feeling overwhelmed, I even let them come over to my stall and sit near me just so they can calm down. Because I think it's very important in conventions to have a safe place to go.
Hmm. And like in saying that, like not a lot of conventions actually cater to that. Where like
It's difficult for a convention to cater to that because you'd have to allot a safe room, but you'd also have to allot basically a guidance counselor in the safe room
yeah,
because it's not exactly a easy thing to do because every convention needs all the space they can get. Usually they will have a quiet area,
mm,
but even that can't be seen as a safe area because it gets crowded, and if you're overwhelmed it doesn't matter where you go
yeah,
unless you're with someone you feel comfortable with.
comfortable with.
Yeah.
Mm. Like like
Con
the com-
moms rule. Woo. I'm not the only one, by the way. There's quite a few of us
I
out
am.
there.
I imagine there's several that.
Yeah.
But like now, Ari, like because you've been around a lot longer than me. Now we've seen a lot of the same things and experienced some of the same things. But with you being around a little longer, you probably be better to explain the differences of conventions back then as opposed to now in terms of
Yeah.
either how they were
Yeah.
structured or how they were ran or how what was good and bad about it.
Well, at the start, at the very start, we were basically just running meetings, very big meetings that we call conventions. We didn't have guests. We just showed a few things that we didn't even get licensing for because we didn't realize back then, oh, we need licensing for this. And it was mainly run by colleges. So Erticon was run by DCU. It was good, it was small, but then they decided we're going to get guests in. It started gradually getting bigger, but the main differences here were the fact that the trade halls were very unorganized. You let in whatever dealers you wanted to leave in, and now you have everything is more organized. There's more demand for games to be put on, panels to be put on, shows to be put on, and the dealers, especially with the dealers in the dealer room, you have to have official stock, can be no bootleg at all. And there's a lot of pressure on the dealers to keep it fair. So with artists, Sally, especially, because back in the day when it started, artists weren't a mainstay. They weren't a very big thing at conventions. Now conventions are half and half, dealers and artists.
Mm.
And dealers will be able to get in, official stock for decent enough prices, but they'd be able to sell them at decent prices. But you also need to be aware of how much the artists are selling theirs at as well, because you can't undercut artists.
Mm.
So if I'm selling, for instance, I sell keychains, acrylic keychains, I'll sell them for €8 each or two for 15. Now I could bring my prices down, I would be taking a hit on it. But if I do that, then I'm making all the other artists out there have to reduce their prices, and they can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
And it's very unfair. Like, yeah, okay, I would still be making a little bit of profit per keychain, but I would be fine because I'm selling so many keychains, so many. Whereas an artist having to do that, they're not going to be making it worth their while. And that's just not good business. And it's not fair to the community in general. And that's a big difference now, is we're a community, not just a ragtag bunch of people that are just meeting up because we like the same thing.
Yeah.
So you have to take everyone into consideration, which of course creates
But you get drama with everything.
oh
Like,
yeah.
but in fairness, like there is, it's only a small minority that is just that causes the drama. But But
Yeah,
all in all, like overall, the main like con scene is very communal and willing to help each other. Don't know,
yeah.
in regards to events. So like if a friend of ours is probably running an event, we'd probably step in and help. Whether it be like,
Oh
all
yeah,
right, you need
yeah.
someone to do legwork, I'll do legwork. If you need someone
You
to do a
find that
poster,
with
poster.
organisers now, especially now, organisers are so willing to help each other out. It's not competition anymore. You're looking 10
Mm.
years ago, it was every convention was competing against each other.
Yeah,
And you
free for
don't
all.
see that as much anymore. You see big conventions like, can I name conventions here? Is that okay?
Of course you can.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So big conventions like Dublin Comic Con, for instance, will literally be like, hey, you're a small convention, you need advertisement, get in touch with us, we'll give a shout out for you. They're
Mm.
very fair because they don't feel the need to undercut people. And that in turn has the smaller conventions being all like, you guys should totally go to Dublin Comic Con because the more events, the better, you know?
Mm. Like some people think like the other way, where it's like, all right, these bigger events are kind of like killing the smaller events because of like,
Yeah.
it's almost like it's like a little chokehold, so to speak, where like the big events will come in, they'll have all these guests and have all these things on at their event, but because of the timing of their event, kind of kills a lot of the smaller events from running.
Well, that's another thing where communication is key.
Mm,
So you would find like Dublin Comic Con can be very, very good in this, as they have a schedule of what the other conventions are, and they announce well ahead of time when they're running their conventions, and they keep it to the same time. That way, smaller conventions can run around it.
mm,
Now, there have been issues with Ireland Comic Con that were formerly part of the MCM group. They're no longer part of the MCM group, but they are still outside of Ireland group.
yeah.
They have been changing their dates year to year, and they have been known to run very close to other conventions, and they just don't take in other conventions' timelines at all. And
Mm,
you find that as well with some of the smaller conventions, is they're not doing their research as to when conventions are on. There was a big hiccup there with JCon just last year. They ran at the same time as ValkyrieCon. ValkyrieCon had announced their dates months and months and months in advance of JCon.
mm.
But JCon being a big convention, it was a bit underhanded of them, but it was probably just a communication error. I don't think people would spitefully run on the same dates. At least I'd hope they wouldn't spitefully run on the same dates.
Now,
So
in saying that though, like we did have the unfortunate instance of being, it wasn't just JCon that was run the same weekend. We also had
yeah,
what,
we also
Premiere
had
Con,
Insomnia as
and we
well
had Insomnia. Then so there was at least 5 events running on the same
on
weekend.
that same weekend, and it was just a complete lack of communication.
Hmm.
And you find in the convention scene as organizers, because I used to organize conventions as well, I was an events organizer too. Communication and research is highly important, not just on when other conventions are running, but actually talking to other convention organizers saying, hey, listen, we're thinking of getting this guest in. And they'll be like, oh, we already have this guest booked this year. And it's like, great, thanks for letting us know. We'll look for someone else. No
Mm,
point in having the same guests. And
exactly.
if you have good communication and good relations with other conventions, they are going to be more willing to talk to you. So
Like
yeah, just be
I
nice.
obviously like when used to do run like organize events as well. Then it was me and two other lads that really did it, really ran it. But I felt bad for the guy who had to do the research on the events coming up and having to deal with vendors trying to apply. Just
Mm.
especially in events, it used to be a massive headache for him, but he managed somehow to do it. But
It's
even
not
then,
a one man show. It's not
no, it's very
run
stressful.
any small to big events. It's not a one man show. You need a
Mm,
very good team with you. And unfortunately, I find with a lot of smaller conventions specifically, they tend to turn into 1 to 3 man shows rather than a whole
mm,
team,
yeah.
because some people don't do the work and then others are just too invested that they take up the slack. And that's not fair. That's why I don't do it anymore, because I'm lazy. I mean, smart.
uh, as much as as much as like it was fun to be able to try my hand at it.
Mm,
It's not something that I particularly miss, but it's not something that I am uh, against doing in the future. Don't know,
yeah,
in
no,
terms of like
I get
being
you. I
involved.
would say the same because I do miss it. I'll be honest. I really miss running conventions because it was never about fame for me. It was never
No.
about popularity. I just loved giving to the community that helped make me who I am,
Mm.
and to give them something fun and to let them meet people that they've always wanted to meet. People I always wanted to meet too. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But it gave me a sense of fulfillment and enjoyment. But there was so much pressure, stress, and drama in behind it that it just wasn't worth it in the end for me. So I became a trader instead.
Mm. Like for me, like it's don't know, like someone took a chance and let me like trade at their little event, and by doing that, then it opened the door. But I kind of felt the same when the idea was approached about running an event. It was just like, all right, let's give as many like unknown people as possible, so that way let's better the community. Because if word of mouth is the biggest thing
Mm,
that I rely on anyway, especially. But it's just the
yeah,
fact that like if you have a good event and you treat the vendors and the guests very well, they're going to talk about like I had a great time with this. I want to come back, or I
exactly.
want to do this, or
Yeah.
vice versa. If they're involved in an event down the line, and you may be looking for a spot, it's like, why don't you get this guy? He's very nice. He's very helpful. And he does good stuff. So word of mouth is a
Or
big
in my case, it's like, you could get Lorraine. She's a bit crazy, but put up with her, okay?
thing.
I mean, where's the lie?
Well, conventions though, like it's stressful, but it's also very rewarding at times, and
And it
also
can be lots of
force
fun.
you meet by doing like conventions very regularly. You meet like very creative people, and therefore like it kind of inspires you to be creative as well, and almost forces you to be more creative.
Ew, gross. Me being creative? God, you'd think my name was Crafty or something. Wait,
Wait, I have to think about
wait a
it.
second.
But but yeah, like would it be fair to say that for you, like that when you're around people, it does inspire you to actually want to be more creative in
Oh,
what
yeah, definitely. Definitely, definitely does. Getting feedback from people, seeing what people are excited about, getting inspired by people, it's a huge part of what I do. I wouldn't be where I am and doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for the people who actually go to conventions that are kind of always up in my face, being all like, "Hey, do you have any JoJo stuff? Hey, do you have JoJo stuff? Hey, 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 Lorraine, hey, did you get
the
JoJo in? Did you get JoJo?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not getting in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure." But now I have someone working on it for me.
the like because obviously like this is my way of trying to segue into the fact that like not only like where do you sell stuff, you kind of you dabble in art. You do your own artwork.
Mm.
And because of being around people, creative people, it has gotten you to kind of get the finger out and actually like write a book, which you've done two so far. Working
And
on
I'm
the
working
Tord,
on the third.
working on the Tord.
Literally just working on it before the call. God
But
damn inspiration. God
well,
damn it.
that's the segue. It's like what what kind of inspired you to try a hand at writing as opposed to being an artist?
Okay. Well, this is going back to my college days, actually. So I was studying animation in college for years, did it. Absolutely love drawing. I love the whole creative process, but I love the whole creative process. I don't like just animating, just character design. I liked everything about it, and I realized animation wasn't for me. because you're only working on either backgrounds or one specific part of animation, one specific character. It wasn't everything. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to be part of everything because I'm
Yeah.
selfish, like, yeah. So for me, I had all these stories. So I was thinking, you know what? I'll become a manga artist. And I started working on a manga years ago, back in like 2010. I had it fully boned out and everything. And I realized that the way the story was laid out, I'd have to do like a whole one piece on it, like hundreds and hundreds of issues. And I'm like, I'm too lazy for that. I ain't got no time for that. But as a writer, I got distinctions in my script writing class. I love to write. I'm a fan fiction writer. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to test the waters here, take one of my fan fictions actually, and completely rewrite it to an original story because it was an AU concept. So I took it out, removed all of the fan fiction Naruto characters, and made it into something new. And I didn't think it'd do well. I didn't think I'd get a great response. Now, if people threatening to kill me if I don't release the third book soon, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Like, what in saying that, like, I still couldn't get over the fact that, like, when we were making our trip over to Japan, the fact that you got stopped by someone who recognized that you had
Yes. Oh
written
my
the book.
gosh, yes. I couldn't. I couldn't. I
Uh,
just couldn't. It's like, wait, what?
it was baffling to me. It's like just randomly in the airport, like someone stopped you. It's like, are you the writer? It's like, uh,
Yes.
uh, uh, yes.
Yeah.
When's the third one coming out? Ah!
I'm literally like, I'm like, wait, what? Hang
Like,
on a second.
you were
I'm
not
not
prepared.
famous. What is this?
You were not
I
prepared in
wasn't.
the
I
slightest for that.
wasn't prepared at all. And I would tell people about this, and people would be looking at me like, yeah, right, that really happened. And now I have a witness.
Yes,
Like,
you have a
this
witness to this.
happened.
Uh,
And it's so strange. I'm just me. I'm not famous, and please don't kill me. As like, I don't know how anyone who's actually famous would be able to handle being recognized all the time. I'm just like, no.
it's only happened a handful of times, and that's
Yeah,
for different reasons. But yes, like obviously, as I said, you fly. Well, you used to fly very regularly over to Japan,
damn
uh,
coronavirus.
which is a place that like I wanted to go for years, but
Mm.
only recently finally did it. I said, look, my birthday's coming up. I may as well fucking right. I have a bit of money coming in. I'm just gonna book it. And
And
you were
I wasn't like the best for not enabling you. I was literally like, do it, do it, do it. You know you want it,
but
you just
you
do
were
it.
the person that I came up and asked about because I knew you'd been there like multiple
Yeah.
times. So like I did use you to better my chances of doing it.
You used me. Oh my gosh.
How dare I? How dare
How
I?
very dare. How very dare you use me to go to a place that I go to like 3 times a year.
Like it was a no-brainer to like just like, all right, when you go next, okay. Then I'm thinking of going around this time. It's like, okay. Do you mind if we just book together and that's it? Like, gonna like
Yeah.
you can show me these good spots and
I can show you the world.
it's a whole new world. That's what it was.
It really, really is.
It
It's
definitely was.
Yeah, it's a very weird one to describe because even you had asked me at the time, so what is it like? And I'm like, it's not really something you can properly put into words.
And it's actually true. Like that statement is actually very true for anyone that hasn't been to Japan. It done or is planning on going. You when you come back, you can't. It's very hard to describe. Like
Everything in your own country seems like a downgrade.
yeah,
It's the best
like,
way to describe it.
like, because yes, grand. Like dunno, it's you get over there and everything's so different. Like one of the things I missed, I realized what I missed terribly is like how safe everything felt.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
not once did I ever feel like, oh, I shouldn't go here, or I shouldn't be here, or this.
right.
I just I could walk down the street, no one bats an eyelid. I
Hmm.
did. I wasn't like tense when a big group was walking toward me. Then I could do my
Hmm.
own thing, and it's I miss that. Then I
Yeah, it's lovely. Now, just to be 100% clear on that, majority of the areas in Japan are super safe like that. Majority of them are in Tokyo. There are a few areas that aren't as good, but ironically enough, they're the touristy areas where tourists get, scammed out of things. So
yeah.
Roppongi being one of the lesser safe areas. Ironically enough, Akihabara is another area where you are more likely to have something happen,
Mm.
but not as often. But
Whereas
on the whole, it's very, very safe.
Whereas, like when I travel over, you'd recommended to me that I go to Ikebukuro, and
Yes.
then I had no clue where it was. I just knew that, like, okay, if I'm staying here, that's grand. I originally thought when we were booking this, I thought like, okay, then we're gonna be in the same area. Then like little did I know, like after it gets booked, it's like, okay, you're staying in Ikebukuro, I'm staying in Machida. Then it's like, okay, where's that? That's an hour away, over an hour
Hour and
away.
a half, yeah, an hour
I'm
and a
like,
half train ride.
and I kept thinking, like, is she like messing with me here? It's like she's actually an hour away. It's like then I actually made the trip to Machida, and sure enough, it is an hour and a half. Then two trains, and I
Yeah.
was just like, damn, she has to do this every day. Just
But
to
it
like,
doesn't feel like an ordeal. That's the
no,
strangest thing about it.
the public transport is so like top notch. Like it's
Yeah,
way ahead of any other country I've been to,
yeah.
and it's it trains arrive on time, they leave on time. Like there's no messing about. It's for a lot of people that are traveling or their first time over, they get very intimidated by the layout of the railway
Hmm.
systems. But by the second day, I had it fairly locked down. Then I knew
It
what I was doing.
helps. It does help to have someone who turns around to you and says, "Just realised they're all color coded."
Yeah, they are color coded, but even without that, once and the staff in in the train stations are so helpful.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah. Super,
you
super
never feel
helpful.
intimidated. You can walk up and say, "Look, I'm trying to get here. Which tunnel do I go to? Is it the dunno, is it the Shinjuku line or is it the Yamanote line?" But they'll tell you,
Yeah,
and it was fantastic. I've had to do it a couple of times, but even sometimes I didn't even use the train at all. I walked.
yeah.
I I, I walked from Ikebukuro all the way to Shinjuku, and
To put that in Dublin terms, that's like walking from town city centre to Liffey Valley.
which isn't too bad. Like then
No,
it's
it's not too bad. But when you say to anyone in Dublin, "Hey, do you want to walk to Liffey Valley?" Even if you're right beside Liffey Valley, they're like, "Fuck that shit! No, I'm getting a bus."
but
You know?
but like it harkens back to the fact that I said I didn't feel intimidated. Like it was so safe. Then like that I could do that kind of long walk and not
Yes.
worry about it. Then
And there's so much to look at on the way.
yes, yes,
It
definitely.
really helps.
Like
Like, I love Ireland. I love Dublin. I absolutely adore my country. I will never ever want to leave Ireland as a place I live. But no, I'm serious. I love Ireland.
you have been
But
tempted.
I
You
have
have
been
been tempted.
tempted, but I am a home girl. I am a home bird. When you walk through Dublin Centre, when you're looking straight forward, it's shop, 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 shop. If you look up, you see very, very pretty things. But then when you get out to the suburbs, all the houses look the same. All the walls look the same. Even the parks look the same. It's always the same layout. In Japan, you didn't have that. in a suburb, you had so many different types of houses, different architecture, left, right, and centre. The parks all had their own very specific layouts, very, very specific plants had been chosen, and it was just everything was new. It was a new adventure everywhere you went. Even the shops on the ground level, every time you looked around, the shops had something new and interesting, like a Christmas Yoda to look at. It just, you'd spend hours just looking around you and not getting anywhere because you're too interested looking at things around you.
Like throw a stone and you'll find either Lawton's or a Family Mart. Like
Hmm.
literally throw a stone and you'll see one or look at one. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Or
And don't forget our lovely 7-Eleven, who we
yeah,
lost. So tragic. So
7-Eleven.
tragic. We miss you here, 7-Eleven.
Although, like, absolutely miss the family
Yeah.
chicken. Absolutely miss
Family
it.
cheeky.
And,
Family cheeky from our Family Mart. But I do have to point out now that we've brought this up. Ireland used to have 7-Elevens, but we never had 7-Elevens. The 7-Elevens in Japan, you go in there, you can get ready-made meals, and I'm not talking about these pre-packaged shit that you think, pour some water in and there you go. This is a full meal that they will heat up for you in the microwave. You want to sit down and eat it? They have an eating place in it. They have hot drinks ready to go. They've hot food already at the counter, and oh my god, pizza buns. Pizza buns.
Yep.
It's called a convenient market for a very good reason, because it's oh my god, so convenient. Nothing like we have over here. They have printers in there. You can buy concert tickets in there. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. I don't think Ireland would know what to do with one if we actually got a proper market over here.
No, not hope. I mean, like, even when you took me to was it Shinjuku? Was it? Or
Shinjuku,
did
Shibuya, Shinjuku. I took you a lot of places, my dear.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you took me to, like, is it the market? I think out in Shinjuku, or Shibuya.
Are you talking about Nakano Broadway?
Sorry, yes, Nakano.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's in Nakano.
Sorry, Nakano. Nakano Broadway. Like, it was crazy because that's a proper like
yeah,
market. Like, that's
what you would call almost like a bazaar.
Yeah.
It was insane. Nakano is crazy good for finding bargains, for finding unusual things, for finding things that you don't even expect to see in Japan, like World Wrestling Federation stores and actual Japanese Wrestling Federation stores as well. I brought you to one, and I just seen this look of pure ecstasy over your face, and you were looking at the prices and genuinely debating buying some shit, going, oh, but will my wife kill me?
It was like, because it was pure joy, because I was not expecting. You purposely kept this a secret.
I did.
So you could see the reaction on my face.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I was debating, because they had stuff there that, if you're involved in wrestling, or if you're a wrestling fan, like, this stuff is just, you would never see it anywhere. And this stuff was just, oh my god, like, can I even justify like the price? Like, I'm actually like really tempted. Like, my hand is hovering over my pocket, just ready to throw the money. And it's just like, no, I need to stop myself. But
and I needed to walk away because I'm a very bad influence.
You're just like, no, I'm not going to be the voice of reason that tells them not to get something. It's just
I'm not going to be the voice of reason, because I don't have that voice. I'm the voice that's like, if it makes you happy, you should just get it. Just get it. You know you want it.
It's just like, get it. Just get it.
Just do it. Just get it. Reason? What is reason? Wait a second.
And I mean, like, in saying that, like, when we were in Nakano Broadway, like, then I came, like, you showed me a couple of stores that were selling things, but, like, I came across two things, and I couldn't believe, like, the price for them, just for reference.
Yeah.
But
and just for those listening to us there, you may want to describe what you're holding up.
So essentially,
I've got a video, just so you know.
Yeah. They're miniaturized versions of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Morpher and the Dragon Dagger, respectively.
And they're
Miniaturized.
so detailed.
Yeah. Like
So
crazy
incredibly
detail.
detailed.
And for the price that they were, I mean, like 100 yen, which is the equivalent of a euro.
Not even
Like,
80p.
like, whereas, like, if we were to buy that over here, you're looking at least 20 to 30 quid easily.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Shh,
scary.
you're giving away all my secrets, Niall.
No, I'm not
Shh.
not telling which store. Uh, I'm not telling which store.
Oh no, oh no. But no, honestly, like I think Nakano was fun for me because I brought you up to one wrestling store and you were like, "Holy shit, I didn't know this was here." And I'm like, "Yeah, there's like two more."
Yeah, which I was yet to find out. Then you,
Yeah,
but
I just
I,
kind of like threw that one on you there. I was just like, "Hey,
yeah.
you're welcome."
And the weird thing is, like, we are there for what, 10 days?
Yeah.
Like, we were over in Tokyo in Japan for 10 days, and I barely even scratched the surface of
Yeah.
Ikebukuro. Then I
Yeah.
barely like, and there was still plenty of there was still loads of Japan that I wanted to see but couldn't,
Hmm.
even in the
Like
time frame that I had.
even for me, I usually go for 2 weeks each time,
Mm.
usually. And that is half of it is spent as a holiday, and the other half is spent for shopping. I will get my shopping out of the way first because it's not an easy job. You've seen the way I shop. You see what
Yes,
happens with me. I will have 5 or 6 big bags that I have to now travel back through busy metro systems back all the way to match that area, you know?
which was
It's a
crazy because, like, within a short space of time you would accumulate a majority of what you were going to be selling on.
yeah.
And I was like, are you going to manage with that? Because,
And
like,
I'm like,
I have to
lol.
leave you at this train station. And it's
And
like,
I'm just like, ha ha ha, I'm used to it.
uh, but it was just like, okay, grand, like, she's able to manage. But, like, still, it's just like
Yeah,
there's a lot of bags that you have to carry.
yeah. You know, it's I'm a woman. We're used to shopping. Stereotyping.
Oh.
It's like I'm gonna get some flames for that one. Oh no.
No, but, like, obviously, like, I'm talking about Japan a lot because, like, it's something that, like, I know a few of the people that have listened to the podcast were excited about me finally doing the Japan episode, and I just
Mm,
want to give them a good bit of detail for it. Now, not gonna I'm not gonna tell them, like, how to get the flight or how to get that I'm keeping that a little secret for now. But
how to get the flight? How to get this? Ask Lorraine.
yeah, you could ask Lorraine, but will she give you the information? That's the different
Mm,
story. But no, but, like, where I stayed, it was fantastic. Like, I just, as I said, I
yeah,
barely scratched the surface. The place I was staying was Ikebukuro Lodging. It got room to myself. I made
yeah.
sure I
It
paid the
was.
extra for a room for myself because
Yeah.
I was not sharing. Just
No.
not in a
Just to
foreign
make that
country.
very clear, you had initially booked into a hostel, but you wanted a private room, which is actually a lovely thing that they do in Japan. There are hostels where you can have a private room, but still the convenience of being in a hostel.
Mm.
So that's nice.
Which, like, then I was glad I did. I was glad I
Mm-hmm.
paid the extra to do it. Then like I looking back on it, if I was to go back again, I've told you when we got back straight away, it's like I'd be more prepared in how
Mm-hmm.
to do things. Like, I I, I would have a big suitcase with a smaller suitcase packed inside that,
Uh-huh.
and send that straight through the airport.
Yeah.
And still have my carry-on luggage,
Yeah.
as opposed to buying one when I go over.
And your personal luggage as well.
Yes, that as well. So, like, that
But
will.
just again to clarify, you need to be careful when you're booking your flights because some will allow you to have two pieces of luggage to put underneath, and some only allowed you to have one. So you need to be very careful when you're booking your flight.
Mm. Like with that, like obviously with the flights and the suitcase, like that's we paid to have like two suitcases, but we
Mm.
were still allowed like two, one as your carry on and one it was your personal, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Your
yeah. So
personal
your carry-on luggage with 10k and your personal luggage could have 6k. So even with just your personal and your carry-on, you have 16k worth of stuff that you can bring home, and then 23k in each of your bags. Sorted.
so like for the price that was, like it was fantastic. The I I would get my phone unlocked, which was
Yes.
something that I stupidly did neglected to do, which cost. Now, in fairness, like I was willing to pay regardless. Then I paid
Mm.
for the modem, the internet modem, which is a
Mm.
must for anyone that's traveling to Japan.
Yes.
Just you need internet, and you have to have it with you. I
Mm.
would have gotten my phone unlocked and gotten the SIM card, which would have been half the price of what I paid. I paid
Yeah.
the equivalent of €100 for a modem for 10 days,
Hmm.
and whereas like the SIM card would have been half the price.
Yeah.
So that would have
And
been,
more convenient as well.
yes,
Because unfortunately, now modems work great when you're bringing it around, but you have to make sure they're fully charged, because if you lose the
yes,
charge in the modem, you lose your internet no matter how much charge your phone has.
yes,
And despite the fact that Japan is so technologically advanced and it's like a wonder city, there's hardly any Wi-Fi spots anywhere.
mm. There's
Very
only
few
a
places you can get
handful
it.
of like shops or
Yeah,
buildings you can get.
yeah. Like if you're in Japan and you're looking for emergency Wi-Fi, all of the KO train stations have them, and all the Family Mart and Lawson's have them. 7-Eleven also has them, but to sign up for the 7-Eleven ones, it's a little bit more complicated to actually sign up and register to get onto the Wi-Fi.
Mm.
Family Mart and the Lawson's are actually quite easy.
Yeah, like like when we were over there, it's just like there's so much to do. Like you don't
Mm.
realize you're kind of like it's stimulus overload.
Yeah.
Like it's like, what do I do next? What do I do next? Where do I go? Where do I go? You've no clue.
Okay, let's bring it back a little bit here. What was one thing you were expecting from Japan that you didn't see over there?
Oh, that I was expecting to see. Even though like uh, where I was staying and where I got to go, like absolutely beautiful. I didn't get to check out the likes of the likes of a Mount Fuji, or now I realized that that was my neglect. I should have booked it as soon as I got there, because I didn't realize there'd be a waiting period
Mm,
for the booking. But I didn't see as many of the uh, traditional temples that I would have liked to see
yeah,
where I was. But
yeah.
that again comes down to like, look, I barely got to see all like a portion of like where I was staying as opposed to
Mm.
what I wanted to see. So it's
Well, I know from me, the first time I went to Japan, now I have some Japanese, I do, but the very first time I went, I didn't have a lot of Japanese, and I had been to Korea before I went to Japan. And in Korea, a lot of people over there speak very good English, or enough English to for me to get by, that way. When I went to Japan, for some reason I thought it would be the same, that even though they wouldn't speak English fluently, that they would know enough English to be able to help me. I was wrong. And it was just a complete and utter mistake of mine to be unprepared for that. I went over there expecting people, ignorant foreigner that I am, expecting people to know the primary language that is English. And they
no,
didn't. Heathens. No, it was purely one of the things that, as a foreigner, you kind of forget that this is a very, very different country that
yes,
don't need English to get by. You go to Germany, you go to France, you go to Italy,
you can get
they
by.
do a lot of deals with England, Ireland, and America, so they need to have English to do their business
Yeah.
deals, to
But
get on in life.
Japan is on the different
Yeah,
spectrum.
they don't
They're
need it.
yeah. Whereas like
Yeah.
that is definitely one of the things I would have been. If I was to go back, I'd be more prepared,
Hmm.
and I would try to learn more of the language because I I told you but it's for anyone that's listened. The first day that I was there, my first proper day, uh, I went to the nearest convenience store, which was a Family Mart, and I had my coins in a small paper bag, and I was paying for items. But obviously, I went to reach for a coin, couldn't reach it, so I tried to slide it out, and all the coins fall out of the bag onto the floor in the middle of the convenience
Yeah.
store,
And
and
you're
I'm
just
just
like, oh,
uh,
okay.
I'm I'm just standing there with my hands on my face, and I'm like, oh no, oh
Uh,
no. But the people on the queue, the staff are so helpful. Like they
yeah.
help me gather up, they help me with the money and paying for the items. But what I discovered over the course of the trip was the fact that they are extremely patient and willing to
Hmm.
help as long as they see that you are making a conscious effort to try and
Yes.
communicate properly.
Yeah. I found that in Japan, everyone was super nice and super friendly to me because I made an effort. And because I've been like this from the very start, any country I go into, I'll always learn the basics of yes, no, thank you. I'm sorry, I don't understand the language. Do you know English? It's the basics for me is I'm very sorry, don't know what you're saying. Do you speak English? So when I went over with those phrases in hand, even though I knew a lot more Japanese than I do say French, um, I had people being all like, "Oh, ごめんね。英語わからないよ。でも、ちょっと待って." And they would run off and find someone they knew spoke English to help me. They were so friendly, but so willing to go out of their way to help, which is not something you encounter very often. I know a lot of Irish people like that, that would go out of their way to help people, which is lovely. And I found when I was traveling around the world, because I've been in a lot of different countries, I've never found another country that is so willing to just be all like, hey, you're a foreigner, you don't know what's going on. Come on, we show you around. I was like, oh, oh my heart. I love this place. I think that's what just gets me about Japan is how it just feels like home. It's a home away from home, even
Mm,
though it's so different.
the,
Yeah.
the, I I think I said it to yourself. I know I definitely talked to the likes of Anya and all that, but like I I had said that I was only refused point blank three different places because I was a foreigner. Then, which I understand completely. Like they outright just said no foreign. I was like that's fine. But in one of the places that I managed to get into, I went into a small bar because I thought while I'm there, I may as well try to, and
Hmm.
force myself to kind of like interact. But obviously, with the you're using Google Translate to help a good bit as well. And during the course of a very brief conversation that was probably going nowhere, like in general, it was just the basic question comes up is like, so what do you do? Like they're asking me, what do you do? And I didn't know how to explain it. I just said pro wrestling referee to the because that's all I do. So I didn't want to say like I'm a businessman or otherwise, because then I probably expected to hand a business card or something. But
Dude, business card. No, I'm a filthy foreigner. What do you expect?
but but when I said pro wrestling referee, they kind of looked at me, and then I happened to have a photo up just to prove it. It's like there's me, then such and such. I just happened to pick the right photo that had a big Japanese star, like Japanese
Ah,
pro wrestler, on it in the
mm,
photo. So straight away they got it. Don't know
yeah.
what I was, but they instantly became more interested in what I do. It was just a drastic change to like 5 minutes previous.
Mm.
They wanted to know more. They're
Yeah,
more helpful and more willing. It's like
oh my goodness, you do
yeah,
something that involves Japanese people too?
because
Wow.
for anyone that doesn't know, over in Japan, pro wrestling is treated as a sport, a legitimate sport that
Yeah,
uh,
and
is
not the
it's
American fanciful way of putting on a show. I mean, those people in America are crazy athletic and they've got mad skills, but it's so over dramatized that it actually undercuts how talented these people are.
it
Oh, we're
undercuts like
getting into wrestling talk now. Oh
uh,
no.
no, don't worry, I keep it very brief. But like because it undercuts like the amount of time and effort and training that
Training
goes into all
and how
this.
dangerous it is.
Yes,
People
so
see these stunts and they're like, oh, that's fake. And you're like, actually,
it's
oh,
not. It's a trained skill that's built
yeah.
upon over years, but
I mean, that
it's
mat is
respected.
hard. It's not going to be easy to fall on it either way.
It's treated with respect as opposed to
Mm,
just isn't that fake stuff? Don't know. It's like,
yeah,
no, it's not. Don't know.
yeah. Like
But
if someone in the wrestling industry over here or in America says, "Well, I'm a wrestler," they're like, "Oh, right." Not in Japan.
yeah, no, but like but it was a drastic change of don't know. Okay, it went from being a nothing conversation to oh, don't know. It
Mm,
became a more interesting conversation and then a
yeah,
more engaging conversation, which I
yeah.
was delighted about, especially being a foreigner, like struggling to try and understand what's going on.
Mm,
But yeah, like really enjoy my time in Japan. Really enjoyed having someone there to kind of like tell me it's like, all right, you do this, don't do that, please don't do that,
please don't
don't
do
do
that.
that.
Oh no. Oh no.
No, but it was fun. Like, and Japan is very fun. Definitely want to do it again. Hopefully, when
Mm,
providing things go well in
yeah.
in the world. But I digress. You,
Okay, question number two. What was there that you didn't expect to see?
uh, I wasn't expecting the the typical anime trope to actually be real of vending machines with
Yes.
questionable items in it.
Yes.
I was not expecting to see that as a real thing.
Like me walking by, hey, going, hey, Niall, hey, Niall, hey, Niall, do you want to buy some used panties? And you're like,
What?
excuse me? And I'm like, yeah, here's
Yeah,
some panties.
and
Yeah,
then
but they're clean, right? Nope.
no, you pointed, then proceeded to point to the machine, and it's like, yeah, I need to take a photo of this. No one will believe me. Ching. So I still have that photo.
Right? Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. And
But
it's like people say this and you're just like, yeah, right, sure. And then
it's
you
real.
point at it and they're like, wait, hang on a second. This is not okay.
It's real. It's like no. But yeah, like
Casually browsing through the gachapon machines, you know, getting your Dragon Ball Z figures, getting yourself some Love Live figures, getting yourself some Disney princesses, and getting a masturbation egg.
that was scary going into the what's the big convenience store, the big one?
Don
Uh
Quixote.
Don Quixote. Then the fact that you will literally turn a corner and there you go. There's just a wall of sex toys.
Vibrators!
Then it's like, oh, okay.
It's like, here's some kids' toys, and here's some adult toys right beside each other.
yes, yes,
But it's okay because there's a little curtain separating the two of them,
yeah. That curtain's so gonna stop people from going in there.
right?
Well, it wouldn't
I
stop anyone
mean,
over here, but over there they have a respect for the rules, and it's actually will work. Then
yeah.
that that was the big difference.
I just think it's the funniest shit though. It's kind of like you just walk and you look down and you're like, oh my god, that's a cute little gachapon of little Shiba Inus. What's that right underneath it? Oh shit, that's a masturbation toy. Hang on a
Yeah,
second.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
This
to
is
move. But and the
mm,
prices for some of the stuff,
oh yeah,
it's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
Some of them unbelievably cheap, and I don't mean the sex toys. Before anyone thinks that, I have to put a stop on that one.
Sure you don't. I mean, what?
No, but like when you're in a Don Quixote, like Don Quixote, like actually like sells. I want to say legitimately everything that you could think of.
Donkey is fantastic to find things you need, but they're also very hit and miss when it comes to finding bargains. Like
Mm.
some of the things in Donkey you can get, like what was it that you bought? That giant plushie that you bought that was only 200 yen?
I bought the giant Mario plushie for my son,
Yeah, yeah.
and it worked out at the equivalent of a €10.
Oh,
So
10 euro, that was right. Yeah,
thousand
yeah.
yen.
1,000 yen, that's the one. And this
Um,
was like a big teddy
this is like
for
this is the big
official
plushie
stock
that would normally be like 50, 60 quid over here easily. And
easily.
they're just selling it there for like a tenner. I'm like,
Yeah,
yes, I'm getting this. It's gonna be a pain in the arse to fucking pack, but I'm getting it.
yeah.
And I did. I
And
managed to
then
get it back.
on the other hand, you'd go to a different area and you'd find hair products that I use, Manic Panic, and they're like 2,800 yen, which is about 25 quid,
Mm.
and you can get them online for about 20. So, you know, it's
Yeah,
hit and miss. It's
yeah,
real
yeah.
hit and miss. You have to, with Japan, you have to hunt for your bargains.
Mm.
Like you'll have two stores right beside each other selling the same thing, and one store might have half the stuff you want cheaper than the other, and vice versa.
Mm.
So you don't just buy at one store, you do shop around. Unless you're me and you know exactly where to go.
Yeah, which was a big help for me. Now I would have obviously I went over there to enjoy myself as a proper holiday, but obviously going back, taking what you've shown me, which I will not divulge, uh, but I'd be actually like shopping,
Yeah.
actual shopping,
Trade
and
secrets, yo, trade
yeah,
secrets.
yeah, gotta keep some. What I was baffled by was the fact that like how rare the likes of my art was over there.
Yes. Bead art is rare and expensive
Yeah.
because one of the things about Japan is as a culture, they really do understand the amount of effort that goes into crafts, and they pay people for it. So even people who do dojins, fan art books of other art are legitimately on sale in Japan. You
Mm.
can walk into an animate, go to the dojin section, and it's fan art
Yeah.
of other art, of other artworks. Like you can get Boku no Hero, you can get Naruto, you can get no matter what
Yeah.
show is that you follow, you will find some dojins in there, and they're done by normal people, but they're allowed to sell legitimately in legitimate stores,
Yeah.
which is not something you would ever see over here. Could you
No.
imagine Disney Marvel being all like, yeah, guys, just make your own comics, it'll be fun, we'll like that? It's like, we're
Copyright
not even
claim.
going to
Ding.
ask you for any of the money. It's
Oh,
like, okay.
nah,
But
because like the prices now, like granted, like it's very rare and it was expensive. Like it was prices that like some items I've actually made myself, and I would never dreamed to charge that kind of price.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I got the fact that it's really appreciated over here as opposed to where back over here, especially in Dublin. Dublin is spoiled,
yes,
super spoiled.
yeah, we really are. We really are as a convention and art community. And a lot of the blame goes on artists, to be honest, there, because a lot of artists don't value themselves over here and don't realize that it's not just their artwork they're selling, it's their time and their talent that they're selling. So they'll underprice themselves so many times. I can remember at a convention sitting beside an artist who was selling painted pieces, like the original painted pieces, for a fiver per canvas. And I lost the plot at her. I was like, oh my God, these pieces are really good. And you're selling them for a fiver? That's an absolute disgrace. And she thought I was saying that she was selling for too much. To which I had to sit her down and lecture her about the amount of time it took for her to make
Mm.
those, the cost of the paint on the canvas, and the cost of her literally sitting there to sell them.
Mm.
And so if you were paying yourself an hourly rate, you're literally working for 5p per hour. 5 cents per hour. That's
Mm.
crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like, for me as an artist, I've kind of taken a step back from trading as an artist to more as an actual trader.
Vendor,
Now, I
yeah.
still do artwork, but I tend to put them on my keychains now as a mass produced artwork kind of thing. Because when I was doing commissions, I still take commissions, by the way, if you want some. Plug,
There you
plug.
go. Get that plug.
I'm telling you, right? Just find me on Facebook. I'm Foxy Crafter Ireland.
There you go.
But there I go. But as an artist, I found that even charging people for a full colour commission of €30, I was undercutting myself. I still am undercutting myself. But I'm having to compete against other artists that are out there that are selling full colour pieces for €20. And, some of them even less.
Mm.
I'm not going to go down from €30 because I value my artwork. And even at €30, some of these art pieces are taking me up to 6 hours to do. So that's €5 per hour that I'm getting paid for doing a commission art piece. It's not enough,
No.
but it has to be done because that's the
Unfortunately.
only way you're going to be able to sell it. And the same thing has happened with bead art. There's so many different bead artists out there that are just doing it for fun. And then when they're selling it, they're just happy to make whatever. But because they're underselling the work, it means that other people who would actually be making this as their career aren't able to sell them for the price that they're actually worth.
Yeah. Because like it was said to me as well before, but the fact that like my commission start at 30. Like that's
Mm.
a custom commission regardless. Then it starts at 30, and then depending on the size and detail, like will probably go up in price. And then I will offer them the option of a tenner for the canvas if they would
Yeah.
like it mounted to a canvas, a painted canvas at that.
Mm.
So that's the way I do business with that. But for pieces that I've made, they vary in prices depending on size and detail.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
still, like some people think that I'm vastly like underselling it as opposed to
Yeah.
what it is. Don't know, but it's just what I have to do in order to
It
make
is
sales.
to be able to compete in the current market and the market climate. It
Mm.
was the same with me. And as an artist, and I'm sure you can appreciate this too, as well as a crafter, you get some people who come up and see you sketching or see you doing something and be all like, oh, but you've done that so quickly. Can't you do it for me for cheaper? And it's like, lol,
Oh.
no, I went to college for X amount of years to be able to do it this quick.
Yeah.
It's like, please don't judge people by how quickly it can be done. It's a skill that has had to be learned and trained for. We're getting off
Yes.
topic, but yeah.
No, but like
Tangent.
obviously like we kind of touched on it, like, and
Yeah.
there's still a ton more that we could talk about,
It's
which
just in Japan, you do feel it appreciated a lot more for having a talent.
yes, that'd
Yeah.
be very fair to say. Like, yes, because like obviously I don't want to take you for too long, like I don't know, because as I said, there's so much that we could talk about, and we could definitely like do another one of these down the
Yeah,
line,
absolutely.
because like there's so much that we could get into. It's weird.
Oh God.
It's weird that
It's
we.
just, you're just making this so much worse. So it's like, I don't want to take you for too long. That's what she said.
Uh,
There's so much more we could get into. I'd like to do this again. I'm like, oh God, no, please stop. Oh, please stop. You're making
I
this so bad for me.
I
I'm
didn't
a
even
pervert.
realize I was doing that. I didn't even realize.
You're not a pervert. I am. That's why I'm like, oh no. And you're just like carrying on regardless.
Yeah, happy go lucky, the happy fool.
Sorry, bitches.
No, no, but
What a turn of events. The female is the perverted one.
oh Jesus, like that's not unheard of, but
That's why I
anyway.
was being dramatically ironic.
Mm. But we shall hopefully do this. I shall hopefully have you on another show somewhere down the line. Haha.
Well done.
And
Well done.
but until then,
Mm.
it's been very fun having you here. Would you like to plug anything?
Uh,
I think you've done it already, but like if you'd like to
I've
give, of
already like. I mean, would I like to plug something?
course you can.
Okay,
I think you
so
would. Hey, sorry.
so as far as conventions go, if you are looking for any anime stock or any nerdy things, you can hit me up on Crafty Like a Fox. That's on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram on Crafty Like a Fox Store, or my Instagram is Genesis Go Boom for my artwork. And of course, check out the Immortals novel. It's the Immortals trilogy. So you can check me out there as well. Yeah, look at me.
There we go.
I'm amazing. And so modest.
Some others. And on that note, like,
So modest.
this has been the Foxy Bros podcast, and I've been your host. I'd like to thank my guest, Lorraine, for coming on,
He'd
and
like to, but he's not going to.
I'm thanking her for coming here, and hopefully we will have her on another show again. But until then, I've been your host.
If he survives this one.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
hopefully.
keep interrupting.
Hopefully.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I mean.
But hopefully, like, if you like the
Hi, I'm
podcast.
Lorraine, and I've been your host. Wait, what?
Wait, what? When did this
Sorry,
happen?
okay, I'll let you finish. Go, go,
Yeah.
go.
So if you like the podcast, please like, share, comment, let us know what you think. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, or what you'd like to hear us talk about. Uh, Damn, that kind of threw me off there.
Sorry
But
about you. If you want to hear more from me, just hit him up in the comments and be all like, hey, get that crazy girl back on again. She was hilarious. Or
yeah,
if you think I'm not hilarious and you just want to torment him, get me back on again too. Haha. I
that
mean,
is also
no
true.
one wants to torment you at all. What are you talking about?
Oh, Jenny Mac. But yeah, if you like it, yeah, right. Okay.
Well, yeah, you see,
Well,
this is the effect that I have on you. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm going to wrap up for you people. Thank you for joining us here on the Foxy Brothers podcast. It's been a pleasure to be your co-host, I will say, rather than guest, because look at me, I'm just amazing. You can't look at me, it's a podcast. What? I will hopefully have you all listening to me again soon, but don't forget to tune in for the dulcet tones of Niall Fox.
well, thank you very much. And on that note, we shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Peace out.